Welcome to my new Halberd build, the Warhorse build. Okay, so in case you're wondering why a new build, I just uploaded one. This is not an update, this is an entirely new build. So it also has an entirely different playstyle. So I'm still using my Godspeed wheel build. This is this one. I'm still using it. I will still continue to use it for my solos, but I felt like I needed another Halberd build without Godspeed Wield, so in case I don't want to pay too much attention and just want to chill in the party and not die every time I make a mistake, so I made this build. And it turned out amazingly well. I'm totally surprised by the performance. In the end, I will show you a Finston Ultimate solo, so that's why I'm here, because I just finished it. It was my first try, so in case you don't know, if people do Godspeed Wield solos, they usually need a ton of tries, I myself do as well, until they finally finish the boss to upload the video. So, Finston Ultimate, this was my first try, and worked. And you can see right here, you can see the time, 4 minutes and 17 seconds. So, my first try and the fastest solo I could find on YouTube with a quick search was around 3 minutes and 30 seconds. There may be a faster one, but this was the fastest I could find so far. And you can see this was just my first try and was just 4 minutes and 17 seconds. So the damage is really good. And this actually is kind of the real solo build, because with this one it is so easy to solo bosses, or just a lot of times while leveling at Finston here, my party wiped and I was the only one left, and I just finished the last, I don't know, 30% HP of Finston alone before my mates could revive. So this build is extremely powerful, but let's jump straight into it. Okay, so I just thought I kind of have to do a few words on what the pros and cons of each build, the Pole Dancer and the Warhorse build, are. So the Pole Dancer build has the greater damage potential, because yeah, I use Godspeed build, and it is also faster. It is capped with a speed potion. It is capped at 50% motion speed. So in case you don't care about anything else besides damage output, pick the Pole Dancer build and you're good to go. This build, of course, if I want to get some survivability and not use Godspeed Wield, but still kind of maintain my motion speed, I will have to do some sacrifices for the damage. So this build has lower damage, but the damage is still way higher than I expected it to be honest. So you will get a little bit of lower damage with this one, but more survivability and a bit less speed, but I tried to keep the motion speed as high as possible. Max motion speed is 50%, and with this build I still have 35% motion speed, so it's still really fast. And yes, so even if it is a little bit slower, but because I'm more tanky, it is not that bad if I get caught in a combo because I wasn't fast enough, because I will usually survive it. But yes, so if you want to just go full out damage, go pick the Pole Dancer build. If you also want a little bit of survivability to not die at every mistake but still have a high damage output, pick this one. Okay, another quick thing I wanted to say beforehand. With this build I try to balance attack, survivability and motion speed. And what I'm showing you now is the combination that I came up with, which works for me best. You might have prefer a different playstyle. You might prefer more motion speed, less attack. You might prefer more survivability, whatever. So I will try to give a few suggestions in case you want to prefer one or the other. But this is more of an example of how you could do it. But feel free to change it for your own style. So motion speed, attack, survivability, whatever you prefer. But in case you prefer more attack, you might just as well use the Pole Dancer build. But anyways, let's jump into it. Like always, at first the stats. So you can see very basic, strength over agility. If you prefer more motion speed over more damage, you can do agility over strength. I tried that. I really like the motion speed, but in the end I ended up liking the damage a little bit more. But yeah, you could do it. So you can see attack speed here, 5600. Now let's use quick. I can't use it here. Never mind. If I'm using a Terra Speed Potion, you can see I'm at 6.6k attack speed, and with Quick Aura I end up at 7.4k attack speed, and that equals roughly 35% motion speed. Okay, to the skills. Food first. I myself cook weapon attack, but otherwise you want attack MP recovery, max MP, critical rate, and max HP. It would be more beneficial if I myself would cook physical or magical resistance, but it doesn't matter too much, but it would be a bit more helpful. Yeah. Okay, to the skills. As you can see, I used up all my skill points and also used some star gems here, but I definitely picked some skills which you don't have to pick at all. They are not necessary for the build, they are just a little bonus. I'm gonna tell you when I come to those skills, so you really don't have to use any star gems here. Light Armor Mastery is just a relic from old time, I wouldn't buy it again. I only bought it before the evasion change. It's not really worth it anymore. MP charge level 1, you can just put one skill point into MP charge or not get it at all. It's just because I don't have Warcraft struggle, I don't have any opportunity to recover MP in between boss fights. But it's also not that bad, I have high AMPRs so I can get them back quickly. You don't have to get the first two at all. Play that only because I use Regretless, but I will come to that later. It's also not a must. The only must skills here are Attack Up level 10, Halberd Mastery level 10 and Quick Aura level 10. But those equal 20 skill points because I have to pick Halberd Mastery and Attack Up level 5 anyways. So I save 20 skill points with those. But you can very easily get those 20 skill points back with other skills which you don't need, which I will tell you then. Okay, Blade skills, Warcry, usual combo filler, attack buff 10%. Shot skills, because I don't have Warcraft struggle on this build, because I want to be at full HP all the time, I have to get other ways to recover more MP. I use, that's why I also get Quick Draw level 10 here, but I also have Regretless. But I will get to that later. So Long Range level 10 for a 10% damage buff to Dragon Tooth. Don't be mistaken, long range works for every distance for Dragon Tooth, also if I use it at 1 meter range. Quick Draw level 10 for a 30% chance to restore 100 MP whenever you use a skill. Decoy Shot for stationary bosses for great MP recovery. Magic skills obviously impact and final for combo purposes. You could get level 1 MP charge here. Guard skills only level 5 here to get level 1 mirage evasion so I can evade during my decoy shot. Survival skills 10 HP gives around 1100, 1300, I'm not too sure on the exact number, but it gives about that amount HP and 300 MP from here. Support skills, I don't have anything here. I experimented a little with Kairiki from the Katana tree for the AMPR buff, but I didn't want the burn, so I used recovery beforehand, but didn't really like it at all, so I scrapped it again and saved the skill points. Kairiki also costs a lot of skill points. You could try it for yourself, but I personally didn't like it. Shield skills, I use protection and aegis here. They each add protection adds 30% physical resistance minus 15% magic resistance. Aegis gives you 30% magic resistance and minus 15% physical resistance. If you combine those two, you get 15% each. But if you fight a boss which mainly has one type of attack, physical or magical, you could also just use one of them and get the 30% buff. But I usually use both and get 15% resistance each, which helps a lot with survivability, and it also buffs your party members. So you're also being helpful for your team, besides doing damage, of course. Dagger skills, I don't have anything there. Battle skills, like this one is a star gem, critical up for more crit, intimidating power for more attack. Here only Shikuchi. Shikuchi is one of those skills that you could scrap. Not at all, not totally. you will still want a level 1, but you don't need a level 10. Level 10 gives me 25 AMPR on my Shikuchi attacks, so on mobile bosses I get a little bit better MP recovery. I only skilled it because I had the skill points left. It's definitely not a must-have, and it doesn't change too much. Here you want Adlib as a combo opener. We can't use Godspeed Wield or Reflex as a combo opener because both decrease our survivability. Godspeed Wield decreases resistance and Reflex decreases defense. So we wouldn't want to use any of those two. So Adlib just for the 100 MP combo starter. That's the only purpose here. Dancer. This is the other skill that you could scrap. So there you have it, the 20 skill points. Get all the other skills. Spirited Dance, I sometimes use it instead of Warcry in my combo. If I'm in a party at a mobile boss and I have other party members who use Warcry, then I use Spirited Dance. Spirited Dance, on the first use, it gives you 100 MP back, so if I use this one in my 100 MP combo, my 100 MP combo effectively doesn't cost anything. But if I use it too fast again, the MP recovery decreases. It adds, I think, a 15-second buff. And if I use it again when the countdown is below 5 seconds, I recover 200 MP. So my 100 MP combo effectively gives me 100 MP back. It can help a little bit with MP recovery, but it's definitely not necessary. Most of the time I actually just use Warcry in my combo. Halberd, 10 Dragon Tooth obviously as your main damage skill. Dive Impact level 1 for the iframe. I also did a separate video on that. Chronos Drive isn't as effective as on the Godspeed Wheel build because we have here lower motion speed. With 35% motion speed, Chronos Drive gives you 300 MP back instead of 390 MP on the Godspeed Wheel build, but it's still very useful. Okay, so yeah, here obviously just some attack and stuff. Here critical rate, quick aura, like I said, I have a star gem. It adds a lot of attack speed, which helps us to kind of maintain our high motion speed even if we don't use Godspeed Wield, and motion speed is just really fun to have. So Halberd, Assassin, level 1 backstab, still really useful, even with evasion. And here we have that power. Here I used Regretless. Okay, Regretless helps you a lot. The way Regretless works is it gives you a buff. The first one lasts 30 seconds. Then you can use it again until you reach 10 stacks. And on 10 stacks it only lasts for 10 seconds. And at the end you die. The countdown only stops if you enter loading screen, so basically if you finish the boss fight and get into the loading screen, you need to get back to the boss room. So you want to use Regretless as late as possible to keep it going as long as possible. If you use every stack, if you apply the next stack only as late as possible, like in the last 3 seconds, I think you can last about 3 minutes with Regretless. What Regretless does is per stack it adds 10% physical and magical resistance and 10 AMPR, 10 AMPR and a little bit of attack. So mainly the 10 AMPR and the resistance are the important one here, and Regretless also heals you fully every time I use it. So I can also use it as a heal. And like at high stacks you can basically face tank bosses. You have tank-like stats besides the HP on high stack counts. So in theory at 10 stacks you have 100% physical and magical resistance and 100 bonus AMPR just from this. But yeah, it's a great skill to use, but you have to be careful because also if you die while using it, you can't be revived. That's why I use the Playjet Star Gem, because I can't struggle, I can't be revived by teammates, I have to wait for the countdown to go down. So instead of 300 seconds, I only have to wait 150 seconds. But yes, Regretless is really fun to use, and you can see a great display of it in the Finstern Ultimate Solo, which you will see in the end. Let's get to the combos. very basic Dragon Tooth combo, my 100 MP combo. Here, like I said, sometimes I put in Spirited Dance, usually I have Warcry here. This costs 100 MP, this costs 500 MP. This is my Protection Aegis combo, it costs 300 MP. This is my, this is the MP recovery combo for mobile bosses. With Chronos Drive, it costs 100 MP. And if I fight a more immobile boss like Finstun or Venina, or actually most bosses, you can place a decoy in there, but there are some which just move too much to make effective use of decoy. Then you want to use decoy shot and then, where is it? Chronos Drive Swift. That's my usual combo. And then sometimes if I don't have Warcry in here, I use this combo. I usually like to use Backstab without a combo, but yeah, sometimes I put it in here, also just 100 MP to reapply Warcry. Okay, so for the equipment, I use the same halberds I use for my pole dancer build. I could also get like attack speed and critical rate on here, but I didn't want to buy another halberd set, so I'm just sharing them between the builds. Yeah, you want to use Mantular and Neomortong Sword or Guimel. You have to decide there. Neomortong Sword gives a little bit less damage, but less aggro, and Guimel gives you more damage. I think I would actually prefer Guimel, but I'm too lazy to change, and it doesn't make that much of a difference. So I'm just keeping Neomortong Sword for now. Twilight Sakura Dagger. This make sure to get this dagger. It can only be obtained during this event, the Hanami event, from Amalgam, and it's perfect for this build, attack speed and attack MP recovery. The reliefs of this dagger also motivated me to finish this build, and I'm really happy I did because I love it. But yes. The great thing is because this build uses normal halberds, you can also use with no problem at all elemental halberds, and you won't miss any stats. So for the armor, the usual stats, attack percent, are critical damage and critical rate. You can decide, yeah, I need Manflag to get to max MP almost. I'm at like 1.98k. He can decide if you want more attack or more defense. You could either have Tuskok, attack 6%, or you could also pick Sapphire Roger for 4k more HP. You have to play a little bit around there and decide what fits best for you. Full Beard. Okay, Full Beard has perfect stats as well. Short range damage, strength, attack speed. So basically damage and attack speed. The main Ixel here, so if you only have one slot, get this one, Wandering Wheel, attack, and mainly attack speed, 75%. But as you can see, minus a lot of long range damage, so you wouldn't want to use Dragon Tooth from 80 meters or further away, because you will get a massive damage reduction due to this one. If you have a second slot, also get Yashiro Azuki stat. It's just the perfect package of stats, attack speed, damage, minus aggro. If you want more motion speed, you could also get a wind-up key. Attack speed 1k, so 600 more than the Full Beard, but no attack bonuses and also minus stability. That isn't great. But yeah, you can try a little bit around there and see what fits best for you. Time Warp Watch here. For the attack speed, the minus resistance isn't great, but I use Silisauga to get to 100 critical rate, and it also gives me 5% physical and magical resistance. So Time Warp Watch effectively only gives me minus 4%. So if I use Protection Aegis additionally, I am at 11% each, so I'm not in the negative anymore. Then obviously also Volgagan for more attack speed and a little bit more critical rate to get to 100 crit. Yes, the avatar stats aren't important. Aim for any kind of attack buff. The best ones are attack percent, critical damage percent, and short range damage percent. These are the three best attack ones. Or I personally went for more AMPR. I love having higher MP arm, especially on this build, because I don't have max motion speed, and I don't have Warcraft Struggle. So as you can see, 5 AMPR here, 7 here, and 7 here. So my avatars right now give me 19 AMPR in total, which is not bad at all. Before we jump into the gameplay, I want to talk about the consumables that you could use. You don't need this one. We already have max MP. But the Terra Speed Potion is just really great to get to more motion speed, to 35%, just to be as fast as possible. And this is so cheap. You can get it at the NPC vendor for like 500 spinner each. So it basically doesn't cost anything, and it lasts for 30 minutes. Just 1.5k more HP. There are better ones, definitely. For example, Jailor's Shuffle. It gives 3k instead, but it costs more. This one is definitely sufficient. But yes, I just want to show you those, mainly those two options. Oh, I forgot. Ginkgo Nut Rice. This is definitely on the more expensive side. I usually don't use it because of that, but if I do like really hard boss fights, for example in the Finstand solo, you can see me using it. Or let's say we do high level gem run, I don't know, Glory or Ultimate Gem without a Victory Gem, then I would use it as well, just to make sure I survive. It gives 25% resistance each, which is a lot. But yes, mainly those 3 consumables, they are an option. Most of the time I only use this one. And sometimes, if I feel like getting a little bit more defensive, I use these one or both of these. But yes, so I talked a lot about the build now. Now let's let the gameplay speak for itself.